You ever see a South African actor trending on social media? Their face all over TV, their name in the headlines, doing interviews, dressed sharp, smiling big, and think to yourself, damn, they must be loaded. Nah.
In most cases, I'm not saying in all productions, that actors are overworked and underpaid.
That's the trick. That's the illusion. Behind the glitz, behind the fame, behind the lights, the truth is brutal. South African actors and entertainers are going broke. And I don't mean broke like tight on cash. I mean broke like can't pay rent, broke like losing homes, broke like begging for help online. It's shocking. It's depressing. And most importantly, it's by design. The industry is set up to keep actors financially fragile. No matter how talented, no matter how famous, no matter how many millions they generate for broadcasters and producers. Fame doesn't equal fortune here. It equals instability and sometimes humiliation. And today, we're breaking it all down. Here's how South Africans go broke. Let's start with the big picture. In South Africa, actors are not treated as employees. They're classified as independent contractors.
You don't have UIF.
Yes.
You don't have medical insurance.
Aid, yeah.
You don't have retirement fund. You don't, even if you want to take up life insurance, it's all on you. It is not a responsibility of where you work, because you don't work at one place or company. You work for multiple. You serve multiple contracts for different productions and work. So those are the real challenges. And
take Mkhize, known for her roles in Isibaya and Law, Love, and Betrayal. Someone who gave years of her life to this craft. In 2024, she admitted she had only worked 5 days that year. 5 out of 365. And when the gigs dried up, so did the income.
Even though I do not have an income, I'm still expected to commit to a particular amount that I should pay towards a bond. But now I can't commit to into ngengikwazi ukuyilentoza. I do not have an income.
She lost her home. She had to plead for assistance just to survive. This is someone who's been in the industry for years, respected, acclaimed. But the system doesn't care about your years of service. The system doesn't care about your reputation. Once that contract ends, you're disposable. She said she was even thinking of leaving acting permanently.
Ukuthi, they can keep their damn roles. It's fine. I now want to leave.
Because what's the point of dedicating your life to an industry that will just spit you out? That's how quick it happens. From screens to scraps. Now let's talk about Glen Gabela. A veteran, a man with decades in the game, known for his work in Uzalo.
Nina, it's very hard. It's very hard. It's very hard.
In 2018, he got written out. Boom. No more work. And because there's no UIF, no unemployment safety net, his income vanished overnight. 5 years of unemployment followed. Imagine that. 5 years. The stress, the depression, the weight of watching your craft, your livelihood, your passion evaporate. It broke him down. Literally, he suffered a heart attack. Doctors told him straight up, the heart attack was triggered by stress and depression. Think about that. The industry's neglect didn't just break his finances, it broke his health. After 3 weeks in hospital, when he came out, he wasn't asking for millions. He wasn't asking for sympathy. He just wanted a job to get back on his feet. That's how deep the hole goes. His ambition was reduced to wanting to survive. And here's the tragedy. Glen has over 21 scripts ready, 21 projects he developed, but he doesn't have the resources or the backing to produce them. So his talent, his creativity, his contribution, it all just sits there while he begs for groceries. That's not personal failure. That's systemic sabotage.
Royalties know nothing. Nothing. That's the state of affairs of our industry in South Africa. No royalties. Outside, like reckon, as soon as they see you on the screen, wow, money rolling in, money rolling in. What money rolling in? What money?
And they want selfies.
Then there's Brenda, a star, a household name, someone who should be financially secure, right? Wrong.
I think she's been uyayiva into yokokuba noko inhliziyo kanina ijongane nemicela-mngeni ke
When her personal and family struggles hit, she didn't have UIF. She didn't have royalties to fall back on. She didn't have a financial cushion from decades of work. She had to rely on the public. Fans donated money, over 160,000 rand, to help her get through. Now, on one hand, that's beautiful, right? It shows how much the public loves these actors. But think deeper. Why should someone with her stature, her resume, her body of work have to depend on crowdfunding? Why should charity be the fallback system for an entire industry? That's not sustainability. That's desperation disguised as generosity. And if you think these are just isolated stories, think again. This is the norm. This is what happens when you strip workers of protections and deny them royalties. And royalties, that's the next big scam.
It's about regulation, just to reduce it to that, actually. And you, being related to the music world, would know that composers and musicians have royalty earning rights. And you've had for nearly 60 years in the country.
Yep.
And here we are as actors, and we are watching our work on broadcast television, and from there it went to DVD, and from there it's on social media, streaming. And the evolution of technology has given us so many more different ways of creating content, sharing content, and viewing content. So we love the fact that our work is being seen and shared around the world. But we, as South African actors, don't have the royalty rights. So the musicians have royalty rights for nearly 60 years. Actors don't have royalty rights, which means we don't get the residual income for every time our work is being seen and licensed and shared and downloaded.
And sold, basically.
And sold. That's where the money is.
Yeah.
So the Copyright Amendment Bill for actors is the connection with royalties. The right to earn royalties for actors sits in that bill. And if we want to have some kind of historic transformative legislation that's going to give actors a fighting chance just to earn a little bit of money every time that series, that show, that soapy, that movie is licensed somewhere around the world, it's in the bill. So
globally, actors get residuals. Every time a show gets rerun, every time a movie is sold overseas, every time a performance gets streamed, the actor gets a cut. That's how American actors from the 1990s are still cashing checks today. But in South Africa, nothing.
Part of the problem is that politically we are not protected. We're just not protected. I mean, 30 years plus in the new democracy, we still are freelancers.
And it's not like there haven't been attempts to fix this. The Performers Protection Amendment Bill and the Copyright Amendment Bill were designed to give South African actors royalties, to finally align the country with international norms like the WIPO Beijing Treaty. These bills were supposed to guarantee that if your work keeps making money, you keep making money too. Sounds fair, right? But these bills got stuck in limbo. Sent to the president, sent back, debated, delayed, referred to the Constitutional Court. Years wasted. And why? Because of pressure. Pressure from foreign entities like the Motion Picture Association, the Hollywood Giants, and even the European Union. They argued that giving performers royalties would be an arbitrary deprivation of property for producers. Wrap your head around that. The people who actually created the content don't have the right to benefit from it, but the corporations who exploit the content indefinitely do. That's the twisted logic blocking change. Meanwhile, every delay means another actor sliding deeper into poverty. And the government? They know the conditions are exploitative. In 2019, the Department of Labor proposed to classify actors as employees so they'd get UIF, sick leave, minimum wage protections. But by 2023, the Labor Minister backed down. He admitted conditions were appalling, but said the solution was self-regulation. Let me translate. Producers lobbied hard, didn't want the extra costs, and the government folded. Self-regulation means nothing changes. It means the wolves guard the sheep. It means the exploitation continues, sanctioned at the highest level. And while this is happening, actors are left with impossible financial burdens. Because they're independent contractors, they have to manage their own taxes, retirement savings, and medical aid. But when income is sporadic, how do you plan? How do you save for retirement when you don't know if you'll even work this year? How do you pay for medical aid when your last gig has to stretch across months of unemployment? That's why health crises hit so hard.
Yeah, in the industry, now I feel it. I really do feel it.
Mom Nandi, another veteran, had to cough up 88,000 Rand when her son got sick because she didn't have employer-backed medical aid. That's why Glen's hospital stay almost finished him. The system makes it impossible to prepare. One illness, one crisis, and you're wiped out. Even when unions try to step in, like the South African Guild of Actors, the power imbalance is massive. Producers resist every reform. Workplaces are fragmented. Bargaining power is weak. Payment scandals pop up regularly. Actors not being paid on time or at all. There are no strong penalties for producers who exploit. Unlike in
we don't have, they sell our productions and then we don't get a cent. So, asitholi lutho. No royalties whatsoever.
Here, you wait, sometimes forever. And through all of this, the industry has the audacity to brag about making world-class content. They'll tell you about Netflix deals, international exposure, high production values. But who benefits? The producers, the broadcasters, the platforms, not the performers, the people you actually see on screen. The ones who bring the story to life are broke, forgotten, begging. So how do South Africans go broke? It's simple. You go broke by stepping into an industry that strips you of basic rights, denies you residual income, and glamorizes your suffering. You go broke by signing contracts where all the risk is yours and all the profit is someone else's. You go broke because the system is designed to make you disposable, to make you replaceable, to make sure you never build wealth. Even when you generate millions for others, you barely scrape by. Look at the pattern. Mkhize, 5 days of work in a year, losing her home. Glen Gabela, unemployed for years, suffering a stress-induced heart attack, surviving off food parcels. Brenda, depending on crowdfunding to stay afloat. Mom Nandi, wiped out by medical bills. These are not failures of character. These are failures of policy, failures of protection, failures of justice. And until the laws change, until royalties are guaranteed, until UIF and sick leave are non-negotiable, until there's a proper welfare fund for creatives, this cycle won't end. Today it's